I never thought I'd bury my own wedding ring in the backyard of the house my husband and I bought with blood, sweat, and tears savings. But that's exactly what I did the night Evelyn confessed, her voice cracking like cheap whiskey over ice as she admitted she'd siphoned every dime from our honeymoon fund to cover her gambling debts. What shocked me more than the theft was the secret she'd forced me to carry for years, the hit-and-run accident she'd caused. The one I'd taken the blame for as a wide-eyed 18-year-old, thinking loyalty to family meant swallowing lies whole. And when my husband, Jake, didn't just walk away, but lit the match to our entire shared history, I realized revenge isn't a straight shot. It's a boomerang that carves regret into everyone's bones, including your own. The rain hammered down on the windshield like it was trying to wash away the last shreds of my optimism as Jake and I pulled into the driveway of my in-laws' split-level ranch in suburban Ohio. It was June 2023, the kind of sticky Midwestern summer where the air clings to your skin like regret, and we'd just wrapped up our wedding rehearsal dinner. Everyone had toasted to new beginnings, champagne flutes clinking under strings of Edison bulbs strung across the backyard like false promises. But me? I was already nursing a knot in my gut, one that had been tightening since the moment Evelyn, my soon-to-be mother-in-law, pulled me aside in the kitchen and whispered those 8 words that still haunt my dreams. Harmony. We need to talk about that night in '09. I was Harmony back then too, fresh out of high school, 19 and foolishly in love with the idea of family. Jake and I had been dating for a year, stealing moments in the back of his beat-up Ford F-150 at cornfield makeout spots, dreaming of escaping this Rust Belt town for something bigger. Evelyn was the queen bee of our little world, sharp-tongued, peroxide blonde, with a laugh that could disarm a room full of skeptics at the VFW hall. She worked as a real estate agent, flipping foreclosures during the recession like it was a game of Monopoly. And she always had a story about some poor sap who'd lost it all. Life's a hustle, honey, she'd say, winking over her 3rd gin and tonic. You gotta play to win. That night in 2009, the one she dragged me back to, started innocently enough. It was Labor Day weekend, and Evelyn had insisted on a girls' trip to celebrate my high school graduation. Me, her, and her best friend Margie, piling into Evelyn's Cadillac Escalade for a drive down to the lake in Indiana. Margie was passed out in the back from too many wine coolers by the time we hit the state line, and Evelyn was behind the wheel, chain-smoking Marlboros and ranting about her ex-husband's latest deadbeat move. Men like him think they can just waltz back in after draining you dry, she spat, flicking ash out the window. The road was dark, winding through fields of soy that stretched like black oceans under the moon. Then it happened. A deer, or at least that's what we told ourselves, darted out from the treeline. Evelyn swerved, the Escalade fishtailing on the wet asphalt. We clipped something soft, a thud that echoed in my chest like a heartbeat gone wrong. She slammed on the brakes, and we skidded to a stop on the shoulder. Margie jolted awake, mumbling about a nightmare, but Evelyn and I got out, flashlights cutting through the mist. There, crumpled in the ditch, wasn't a deer. It was a man, middle-aged, in a flannel shirt, bicycle twisted like modern art beside him. His chest rose and fell in shallow hitches, blood trickling from his temple onto the gravel. Panic hit me like a freight train. Call 911, I hissed, but Evelyn grabbed my arm, her nails digging in like talons. No. Harmony. Listen to me. If we stop, if we admit this, it'll ruin everything. My license, my job, Jake's future. He's counting on me for college tuition. Her eyes were wild, mascara streaking like war paint. I was just a kid, raised on Lifetime movies where good girls always did the right thing. But Evelyn's voice was a siren's call. Weaving excuses. The man was drunk. Biking without lights. It'd be our word against a ghost's. We dragged him to the side, checked his pulse, faint but there, and left him with his phone clutched in his hand, dialing emergency ourselves from a gas station payphone miles away. But the lie didn't die there. When the cops came knocking a week later, turns out the guy, a local teacher named Harlan Fisk, survived but with a shattered pelvis and traumatic brain injury. Evelyn pinned it on me. She was driving. Officer. Borrowed my car without asking. I froze in the doorway of their tracked home. Jake's high school football trophies gleaming on the shelf behind me. And before I could blink, the story was set. I confessed, tearfully, convincingly, to a joyride gone wrong. Community service, a suspended sentence. My record stained like coffee on white carpet. Evelyn hugged me after the judge's gavel fell, whispering, "You did this for family, baby." Blood's thicker than ink. Fast forward 14 years. And here I was, 25 pounds heavier from stress-eating takeout during nursing shifts, marrying the man who'd proposed on one knee in the ER break room, stethoscope still around his neck. Jake was my rock, tall, broad-shouldered, with that easy Midwestern grin and a moral compass sharper than a scalpel. We'd scraped together $8,000 for the honeymoon, a week in Key West, conch fritters and sunset sails, our escape from 12-hour shifts at the Cleveland Clinic. I'd Venmo'd it all to Evelyn 2 months ago for safekeeping, she'd insisted, promising to book the flights as a wedding gift. Trust me, harmony. Mothers know best. The wedding day dawned muggy. The ceremony at a lakeside pavilion packed with cousins in ill-fitting khakis and aunts fanning themselves with programs. Jake looked like a GQ model in his navy suit, vowing for richer, for poorer, with eyes only for me. But as we cut the cake, vanilla sponge with buttercream roses, Evelyn's smile faltered. She pulled me into the bridal suite bathroom, the door clicking shut like a guillotine. "The money's gone," she blurted, her face ashen under the fluorescent buzz. I borrowed it. For the house. Payments are killing me. Borrowed? The word hung there, absurd as a clown at a funeral. Evelyn. That's our honeymoon. Everything we have. My veil itched against my sweat-damp neck. She crumpled then, sinking onto the toilet lid, spilling it all, the slots in Atlantic City, the online poker binges that started as harmless fun after her second divorce. $8,000 vanished into digital ether, and now the bank was foreclosing on the ranch. I thought I could win it back. For Jake. For us. I stared at my reflection, smoky eyes, lips painted rose, wondering how I'd become the family's scapegoat twice over. That hit-and-run secret? It had chained me to her. A silent extortion. I'd covered for her crime. Lost internship opportunities because of my reckless youth, and now this. Betrayal tasted like the champagne turning sour in my throat. "Fix it," I said, voice steel. "Or I tell Jake everything." She nodded, frantic promises tumbling out. But as I walked back to the reception, Jake's hand warm in mine, I felt the fracture lines spiderwebbing through our fairy tale. That night, in the hotel suite overlooking Lake Erie, with the waves lapping like accusations, I confessed the theft to Jake. Not the accident, not yet. His face darkened, not with anger at me, but a quiet fury I'd only seen once, when a patient coded on his watch. "We'll handle it," he murmured, pulling me close. together. The next morning, over hotel coffee that tasted like regret, Jake called his mom. I listened on speaker, my heart pounding as Evelyn's voice crackled through, all faux cheer dissolving into sobs when he demanded answers.
So,
I swear, I'll pay it back. Double. But Jake wasn't buying. This isn't just money.
Mom.
It's us. Our life. He hung up, then turned to me, eyes fierce. Harmony. There's more. Isn't there? I can see it in your face. And so, in the harsh light of a continental breakfast, soggy waffles and styrofoam cups, I spilled the '09 secret. Every detail, the thud, the ditch, the lie that painted me as the villain. Jake listened, jaw clenched, knuckles white around his mug. When I finished, silence stretched like the Ohio flatlands. Then he stood, kissed my forehead, soft, deliberate, and said, "She doesn't get to do this anymore. Not to you. Not to us." What came next was the first thread of revenge, subtle as a scalpel's edge. Jake didn't yell or cut her off cold.
No.
He went biblical, eye for an eye, but wrapped in legalese. That afternoon, from our Airbnb in the Cuyahoga Valley, our impromptu honeymoon of hiking trails and craft IPAs, he filed a police report. Not for the money, but for elder financial abuse. Wait.
What?
Evelyn was the abuser? Turns out, in digging through old texts and bank statements I'd shared in my confession, Jake uncovered that she'd manipulated me into co-signing a loan for her business venture years ago, a bogus flip house that tanked, leaving a $15,000 lien on my credit. I'd forgotten, buried under student loans and wedding planning. But Jake hadn't. He twisted the narrative. Evelyn, the predatory parent, preying on her vulnerable daughter-in-law. The cops showed up at her door by evening, badges glinting under the porch light. I imagined her face, pale, protesting as they explained the charges. It was controversial from the jump. Was this justice or just dessert served petty? Online forums lit up when the story leaked. Small-town gossip travels faster than a viral TikTok. Amile deserves it. Thieves gonna thieve. Versus family's family. Boy should forgive. Jake didn't care. He posted our wedding photo on Facebook, me and Lace. Him beaming with a caption, "Starting fresh." Some debts can't be paid with IOUs. The comments exploded. Neighbors picking sides like it was the next culture war. But Evelyn fought back, scheming as always. By week 2 of our honeymoon, camping in the Smoky Mountains, escaping the drama with s'mores and stargazing, she'd lawyered up. A sleazy attorney from Akron who spun her as the victim, Alzheimer's in the family, confusion over funds, lies, all of it. She flipped the script in a tearful voicemail to Jake. "Your father would be ashamed. Harmony poisoned you against me." It stung, because deep down, I wondered if she was right. Had I? The accident was her sin. But I'd worn the scarlet letter. Guilt gnawed at me like termites in drywall. We returned to our starter home in Akron, a cozy 2-bedroom with creaky floors and a view of the steel mill smokestacks, and the real tension brewed. Evelyn started a GoFundMe. Betrayed mother fights foreclosure after false accusations. It pulled in $2,000 from pitying relatives, painting us as the villains. Jake's response? He matched it, donated anonymously to a victims fund for hit-and-run survivors, with a note, "For Harlan Fisk, who deserved better." Controversial? Hell yes. Was she a monster? Or just a flawed mom drowning in addiction? The internet split. Justice for Evelyn trended locally, while true crime pods dissected our family feud like a Dateline episode. As summer bled into fall, leaves turning crimson like warning flags, Evelyn's flips accelerated. One day, a bouquet of lilies at our door, her peace offering, with a card, "Forgive, for Jake's sake." The next, a subpoena, countersuit for defamation, claiming our report was a vindictive smear. She was a chameleon. Mousy victim 1 minute, snarling harpy the next. And me, caught in the crossfire, nursing night shifts where I'd zone out during 4 drips, replaying that ditch scene. Had Harlan Fisk ever walked again? Googling him late one night. Heart in my throat. I found his obituary. 2015. Complications from injuries. My stomach dropped. Her crime had killed him. Indirectly. And I'd enabled it. Jake saw the shadows under my eyes. Held me through the sobs. "We're ending this," he said, voice low as thunder. His plan crystallized over takeout pizza in our kitchen. The scent of pepperoni mingling with resolve. Expose her. Not just the theft, but everything: the accident, the manipulation, the gambling spiral. We'd go public. Full throttle. With evidence, my old court docs. Her casino receipts, hacked from public records. Legally. Even audio from that voicemail, where she admitted the borrow. It was dark. As in war film. The kind where the hero blurs into antihero. Polarizing? Absolutely. Was revenge worth fracturing a family forever? October brought frost to the pumpkins lining every porch in our neighborhood. Jack-o'-lanterns grinning like they knew the skeletons we were about to unearth. Jake and I had turned our living room into a war room. Laptop screens glowing with timelines. Manila folders stuffed with printouts. A whiteboard scrawled with arrows connecting Evelyn's lies like a conspiracy board from a Scorsese flick. He was relentless. My husband, poring over statutes during his lunch breaks. Calling pro bono lawyers from the hospital's legal aid network. "This isn't about money anymore," he'd say, rubbing my feet after my shifts, calluses rough against my arches. "It's about truth. She stole your innocence. Harm. Time to make her face the mirror." I nodded, but doubt crept in like damp through cracked windows. Truth? In America, truth was subjective, filtered through Fox News rants or TikTok confessionals, where everyone played victim and hero in the same breath. Evelyn had always been the master of that game, flipping narratives faster than a politician at a debate. Remember her high school fundraiser scandal? She'd chaired the committee, pocketed bake sale cash for admin fees, then cried embezzlement when audited, blaming the treasurer, a mousy widow who'd ended up bankrupt. Community sided with Evelyn. After all, she was the one with the charm and the church choir solos.
Now.
It was our turn to flip the board. We started small, testing waters. Jake leaked the GoFundMe irony to a local Reddit sub, r/Ohio Drama, where bored millennials dissected small-town scandals like autopsy reports. And Miles steals honeymoon fund, then begs strangers for help while suing her own son. Attached, redacted bank transfers showing the Venmo trail. The thread blew up, 500 upvotes in hours. Comments ranging from petty revenge goals to "y'all are heartless, addiction's a disease." Evelyn retaliated with a Facebook Live from her kitchen, flour-dusted apron and all, baking cookies like Martha Stewart on a bender. My family's turning against me over a misunderstanding. Pray for us. Views, 10K. Donations spiked. But Jake didn't flinch. He escalated, reaching out to Harlan Fisk's surviving sister, a retired librarian in Fort Wayne named Rita. I held my breath during the call, parked in the clinic lot, engine idling against the chill. Rita's voice was gravelly, laced with 14 years of grief. He was biking home from tutoring kids when it happened. Jake laid it out. The real driver. The cover-up. My coerced confession. Silence. Then a sharp intake. That girl, the one who pled guilty. She was just a kid.
I swallowed bile.
Confessing my role over speaker. Rita paused. Then, bring her down. For Harlan, armed with Rita's affidavit sworn, notarized, we went nuclear. Jake's piece dropped in the Cleveland Plain Dealer. Mother's deadly secret, how a hit-and-run cover-up led to a family's honeymoon heist. Byline, anonymous source. But the details screamed us. Evelyn's face on page 3. Mugshot style from her DUI arrest in 12, another buried sin. The article painted her as the antagonist supreme, scheming gambler, manipulative matriarch, serial betrayer. Quotes from Rita, gut-punched. She left my brother to die alone. Then built her life on the lie. The backlash was instant. A perfect storm of controversy. Protests outside the paper's office. Evelyn's bingo buddies waving signs. Forgive and forget. Family first. Counter-protests from victims' rights groups. No mercy for monsters. Cable news picked it up. A Fox affiliate called it generational warfare, while MSNBC framed it as empowerment against toxic in-laws. Social media fractured like fault lines. Evelyn Exposed trended with memes of her as a Bond villain. But Cancel the Sun gained traction too, accusing Jake of elder abuse for doxing his own mom. I scrolled through it all on my phone during med passes. Heart racing. Was I the betrayed saint or the vengeful snake? Evelyn, true to form, flipped again. She lawyered up harder, filing for emergency custody of family assets, namely Jake's childhood home, claiming emotional distress entitled her to half. In a deposition leaked to the press, she sobbed, Harmony seduced my boy,
turned him against me.
She's the real thief of our love. It was absurd. Gaslighting gold. And it worked on some. Jake's aunt unfriended us, whispering at Thanksgiving about that gold-digging nurse. Even Jake wavered one night. Bourbon in hand by the fireplace. Flames dancing shadows on his face. What if she's right? Harm? What if exposing her makes me the monster? I pulled him close. Our wedding bands clinking like tiny handcuffs. She made you carry her shame too. Remember the tuition she loaned you? Then held over your head. He'd paid it back triple. Working doubles at the mill before med school. All while she spent his checks on scratch-offs. That secret bonded us deeper than vows. We'd both shouldered her sins. Me with the record. Him with the resentment he buried under dutiful calls. We're not monsters, I whispered. We're survivors. The tension peaked as winter gripped the Midwest. Snow blanketing the streets in deceptive white. Evelyn's foreclosure auction loomed, December 15th. A Friday the 13th of family finance. She cornered us at a neutral site. Applebee's off I-77. The kind of chain where endless apps mask endless awkward. She arrived disheveled, hair limp, eyes puffy, sliding into the booth with a manila envelope. Truce. Inside, a check for $10,000. Post-dated. And a letter confessing the accident. Notarized for my record expungement. I was wrong. Addiction. It twists you. Forgive me. For Jake. It was her slickest flip yet, penitent prodigal. Trading truth for mercy. Jake's hand trembled on the salt shaker. I saw the boy in him. The one who'd fished with his dad in the Cuyahoga. Longing for the mom who'd bake pies. Not pilfer dreams. Why now? He asked. voice raw. Because I love you, she said, tears real this time. And because if you go through with the auction protest, those signs you planned, calling me a fraud, I'll lose everything. But mostly, I lose you. The waiter hovered, awkward with our half-eaten bloomin' onions. Outside, flurries swirled like conflicted thoughts. Controversial decision incoming. Jake pocketed the check, but not the letter. One more thing, he said, sliding a USB drive across the table. Your casino logs. We've got them. Walk away clean. Or we donate proceeds from the house sale to Fisk's Foundation, your name on the plaque. Her face crumpled, defiance to defeat in a blink. She nodded, signing a quitclaim deed right there, under the fluorescent hum and the din of half-price wings. We left her in the booth, envelope clutched like a lifeline, the check bouncing metaphorically in our pocket. Victory? It tasted like ash. As we drove home through the snow globe night, Jake gripped the wheel. Is this revenge? Or just reckoning? I didn't answer. The polarization hit home. Friends divided dinner invites. Colleagues whispered in the halls. Was she irredeemable? Or redeemable at a cost we couldn't pay? And me, had I orchestrated this? Or just survived it? The climax loomed. Not in courtrooms, but in the quiet unraveling of what family meant in this fractured American dream. Christmas lights twinkled like false hope along the avenues of Akron as December deepened, the city hunkering down against winds that howled off Lake Erie like banshees. We'd won the house, Evelyn's signature on that Applebee's napkin holding up in probate, the ranch ours for song at auction. Jake and I spent New Year's Eve there, not celebrating, but purging, hauling out her slot machine souvenirs, her collection of porcelain angels gathering dust on shelves. This place could be a fresh start, he said, spray painting over her monogrammed mailbox in the garage, the metallic tang sharp as vindication. But fresh starts in Ohio come with baggage, roots tangled like the buckeye trees shading the yard, refusing to let go. Evelyn vanished after the truce, ghosting into a women's shelter in Canton. Her GoFundMe dried up amid the scandal. Whispers said she was hitting AA meetings, dyeing her hair mousy brown to blend in. No calls, no cards, just silence, thicker than the fog rolling off the river. I told myself it was closure, but nights found me pacing the creaky floors, Harlan Fisk's obituary bookmarked on my phone, his grainy photo staring back, kind eyes, a mustache like my dad's. Guilt was a low hum, constant as the hum of the fridge. I'd taken her fall once now. Watching her tumble, did it make me whole or hollow? Spring thawed the ground in March 2024. Mud sucking at our boots as we planted tulips in the front bed, red and yellow, defiant against the gray. Jake's shifts eased to days, mine to part-time, and we talked babies over diner pancakes, sketching nursery plans on napkins. Life normalized, or pretended to, block parties where neighbors clapped Jake on the back, you showed her. Awkward silences at the grocery where Evelyn's old bridge club ladies averted eyes. The revenge had polarized everything, our marriage stronger, but stained, the town divided into camps, with bumper stickers popping up, family over feuds versus truth heals. Then the twist, the one that shattered the binary, leaving everyone, including us, grasping for sides. It came via certified mail on a Tuesday, postmarked Vegas, a thumb drive and a letter in Evelyn's looping script. Play this before you judge, it read. Heart pounding. We plugged it into the laptop on our kitchen island, the screen flickering to life like a confessional. It was footage from 2009, grainy dashcam Evelyn had installed post-incident, forgotten in her attic purge. The road. The deer, real this time, bounding across. Then the swerve. But the thud? Not Harlan. The victim was a raccoon, mangled and still.
No dich.
No man. We'd hallucinated the horror in panic. Evelyn's swerve clipping nothing human. She pulled over anyway. Us two fumbling in the dark. Adrenaline twisting shadows into shapes. The confession I'd signed? Fabricated by her fear. She'd planted the story to test my loyalty. A twisted hazing for her new daughter. The real Harlan Fisk? A separate accident. A month later. On the same stretch, drunk driver. Unsolved. My record? A lie on a lie. Expunged quietly years ago by a sympathetic judge she'd bribed with real estate favors. My knees buckled. Jake catching me as the video looped.
She
made it all up. His voice cracked. Fury and relief warring. The gambling? Real. The theft too, but the accident. The secret I'd carried like a tumor? A phantom. Evelyn's final flip. Not confession, but exoneration. Her letter explained, I lied to bind you to me. Harmony, selfish. Scared you'd steal my boy. When the debts hit, I stole back. But watching you unravel me, I couldn't let the biggest lie stand. Forgive or hate me true now. The drive sat heavy between us. A Pandora's box of what-ifs. Controversial didn't cover it. This twist ignited debates that echoed from barstools to X-threads. Was Evelyn a master manipulator? Engineering our revenge to teach a lesson? Or a broken woman? Finally cracking open her vault of sins? We'd exposed her for crimes half real, half mirage. And in the fallout, who was the villain? Her. For the web?
Me.
For enabling?
Jake.
For the scalpel strikes? We debated it for weeks. Over late-night whiskeys on the porch swing. Fireflies blinking like hesitant stars. She gave us the house, Jake said one night. Voice soft against the crickets. And our freedom. I nodded. But the regret lingered. Hers. In the shelter's anonymity. Ours. In the scars no tulips could cover. I wrote her back. No return address. Truth sets free. But chains remain. Live better.
No signature.
Just the weight of unspoken truces. Summer returned. Humid and unyielding. Our honeymoon finally booked. Key West. Conch shells and sails under azure skies. As the plane lifted off from Cleveland Hopkins, Jake's hand in mine, I glanced down at the Rust Belt patchwork fading below. Revenge had been our boomerang. We'd thrown it hard. Watched it arc through betrayals and flips, landing not in triumph, but ambiguity. No clean win. No tidy tragedy, just us, polarized but paired, debating Evelyn's ghost over pina coladas. Was it happy? In the American way, flawed. Fierce. Forward. Regret? Hers. Full to bursting. Ours? Just enough to keep us human. In the end, family wasn't blood or lies, but the choices we made in the gray. And as the Gulf waters sparkled, I whispered to Jake, to new secrets, the kind we share. He smiled, that easy grin, and for the first time in years, the knot in my gut loosened. Not gone, but navigable. Like life.